So, in Washington, D.C., a single signature might just have marked the end of one of the deadliest conflicts in modern history. We're talking about the Washington Accords, a huge deal designed to finally bring peace to Africa's Great Lakes region. Let's dive in.
And to really get a sense of the gravity of this moment, you just have to listen to the host of the ceremony, President Donald Trump. He made it crystal clear. The stakes here could not be higher. We're talking about a legacy of unimaginable suffering hanging in the balance.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the sheer scale of this 30-year war. Then, we'll break down the accords themselves and hear from the key players who made it happen. After that, we'll get into the economic plan that's really at the heart of it all and explore what this could mean for the entire continent.
Right, so first things first. To really understand what these accords are trying to fix, we have to look at the grim reality of the conflict itself.
For over 30 years, just let that sink in, the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has been absolutely ravaged by violence. This isn't just a war, it's a crisis that has spanned generations. Think about it. An entire generation has grown up knowing nothing but conflict.
And the human cost? Well, it's just staggering. Over 10 million people killed. That's the number that was cited at the ceremony. It's a figure so large, it's honestly hard to even comprehend, making this one of the deadliest conflicts anywhere in the world since World War II. So against this devastating backdrop, the Washington Accords really do feel like a potential turning point. So what's actually in this agreement? Okay, so at its core, this is a formal peace deal between the DRC and Rwanda. But here's the key. It's designed to be so much more than just a ceasefire. The goal is to build a whole new foundation, one that's built not just on security, but on shared economic prosperity. And this slide breaks down the four crucial pillars of the whole thing. First up, an immediate and permanent ceasefire. That's step one. Next, disarmament, getting all those weapons out of the hands of the militia groups. Then, creating safe conditions for refugees to finally return home. And crucially, accountability, a promise of justice for the atrocities that have been committed. It's a framework that tries to tackle both the violence of today and the deep wounds of the past. Now let's hear directly from the key figures who actually made this happen. Their words really give you a sense of the motivations and the incredibly high hopes that are riding on this deal. From the American perspective, President Trump framed this as a truly historic breakthrough, pointing out that this success came after many previous attempts by others had fallen short. He really emphasized the U.S. role in getting everyone to the table. And that's a sentiment we heard from Rwanda's President Paul Kagame, too. He talked about what he called a new and effective dynamism coming from the U.S. administration. In his view, this new approach was what made all the difference. It was pragmatic, focused on the future, and that's what created the space for this breakthrough. And for the Democratic Republic of the Congo, President Felix Tshisekedi called the accords a genuine turning point. You could really hear the hope that this agreement could be the thing that finally breaks that devastating, decades-long cycle of violence and mistrust that has just plagued his country. And this brings us to what many people see as the real secret ingredient for a lasting peace, shifting the entire region's focus from conflict to commerce. And wow, this slide just lays out the core logic of the deal perfectly. The past was all about fighting over the Congo's incredible mineral wealth. The future they're trying to build is about partnership, about integrating the economies of the DRC and Rwanda to unlock that wealth for everyone's benefit, not just a few. So the plan itself has a few different layers. First, it's about forging much closer economic ties between the DRC and Rwanda. But it's also about opening the door for American investment. The big idea is to create new supply chains where critical minerals are actually processed right there in Africa, which means more value and more jobs stay on the continent. You know, this agreement wasn't just about two countries. Its significance was felt all across the continent, and you could see that in who showed up to witness what they hope is a brand new chapter for Africa. I mean, the sheer number of high-level people in the room tells its own story. You had leaders from all over the region, plus key international partners, all there to show their support. This wasn't just a bilateral deal, it felt like a continental event. And President William Ruto of Kenya, I think, just put it perfectly. He argued that peace in the DRC isn't just a local issue. It has the potential to unlock one of the entire continent's greatest economic opportunities, completely transforming the future for millions. And to put that into perspective, President Ruto pointed out this stark fact, which we've laid out here. Africa, a continent overflowing with resources and people, currently accounts for just 3% of global trade. 3%! He argued that it's devastating conflicts, exactly like the one in the Congo, that are a huge reason why the entire continent is being held back.
So, the documents are signed, the speeches are over. But as Burundi's president wisely noted, commitment is one thing, implementation is something else entirely. For the millions of people in the Great Lakes region, the only question that matters now is, will this time finally be different?